What's up, guys? Literally, we're about to uncover some mind-blowing facts about Australia that'll make your jaw drop. We're talking about a land with more deadly creatures than you can shake a stick at, a place where the Outback stretches further than the eye can see, and where the slang is as unique as a kangaroo with a boomerang. Get ready to be amazed, because we're diving headfirst into 12 shocking things about Australia that will leave you speechless. First up, let's talk about Australia's most iconic animal, the kangaroo. These guys are everywhere, and I'm not kidding. They outnumber humans 2-to-1 in Australia, which is insane. But there's more to these hopping legends than meets the eye. Did you know there are over 60 different species of kangaroos and wallabies? Some are as small as a cat, while others are taller than me. And get this, kangaroos can't walk backward. Their powerful hind legs are made for hopping, which is actually a super efficient way to travel long distances in the Outback. Plus, forget boxing gloves, these guys can kick with enough force to break bones. Don't mess with a mama roo protecting her joey. Alright guys, buckle up because we're diving into the world's largest coral reef system, the Great Barrier Reef. Imagine this, it's so massive you can actually see it from space. This underwater wonderland stretches over 1,400 miles along the coast of Queensland. That's like driving from Los Angeles to Chicago, underwater. And it's not just its size that's impressive, the Great Barrier Reef is bursting with life. We're talking over 1,500 species of fish, 400 types of coral, and countless other marine creatures. It's like swimming in a living, breathing kaleidoscope. I'm telling you, the colors, the diversity, it's unlike anything you've ever seen. Alright guys, buckle up, because we're about to take a trip to the Outback. A place so vast, so wild, it makes Alaska look like a parking lot. Seriously, picture this. You could fit nearly the entire continental United States in Australia's Outback. That's insane. We're talking millions upon millions of acres of rugged landscapes, scorched deserts, and dusty red plains that go on forever. You could drive for days and still see nothing but kangaroos, emus, and the occasional road train kicking up dust devils in the distance. And speaking of dust devils, the Outback is known for its extreme weather too. We're talking scorching hot days where the temperatures can soar past 120 degrees Fahrenheit. You can literally cook an egg on the sidewalk, but don't quote me on that. I've never actually tried it. But at night, the temperature can plummet below freezing. It's like a freezer to furnace transition in a matter of hours. So if you're ever brave enough to venture into the Outback, remember to pack for all seasons. Bring plenty of water and maybe a satellite phone, just in case you need to call for a pizza delivery. I'm just kidding, there's no pizza delivery in the Outback. Probably for the best, imagine a dingo stealing your pizza. Okay guys, get this. Aboriginal Australians have been around for over 60,000 years. That's older than ancient Egypt, older than the pyramids, older than civilization as we know it. They were here before the Ice Age ended, before dogs were domesticated, maybe even before pants were invented. For thousands of years, they lived in perfect harmony with the land, developing a deep spiritual connection to it. They were the original caretakers of this incredible continent, and their culture is rich with traditions, stories, and knowledge passed down through generations. One of the most fascinating aspects of Aboriginal culture is the idea of the dream time. It's a complex belief system that explains the creation of the world and everything in it. Imagine a time when giant ancestral beings roamed the earth, shaping the landscape, creating the animals, and establishing the laws that govern life. That's the dream time. These stories are told through songs, dances, and ceremonies, and they're not just ancient history, they're still very much alive today. Aboriginal people continue to practice their traditions, keeping their culture strong and vibrant. It's like having a living, breathing connection to the very dawn of humanity. How cool is that? Alright guys, let's talk about something everyone wants to know about Australia, the dangerous animals. And let's be real, Australia's got a bit of a reputation for having creatures that can kill you in about 100 different ways. But hey, that's part of what makes it so exciting, right? First up, we've got the king of the jungle, or should I say the king of the Outback, the saltwater crocodile. These guys are massive, they can grow up to 23 feet long, and they've got a bite force that can crush a car. I'm not even exaggerating, their jaws are strong enough to turn a car into a convertible. Then there are the snakes. Australia is home to some of the most venomous snakes in the world, like the inland taipan, which has enough venom in one bite to kill 100 adult humans. That's enough to wipe out a small village. And don't even get me started on the spiders. We're talking funnel webs, redbacks, and huntsman spiders the size of your face. But wait, there's more! Australia also has sharks, jellyfish, stingrays, and even cute little creatures like platypuses and slow lorises that can pack a venomous punch. It's like nature decided to have a little fun and concentrate all the dangerous critters in one place. Alright guys, we're heading to Sydney, Australia, home to one of the most iconic buildings on the planet, the Sydney Opera House. Seriously, just look at this thing. It's like someone took a bunch of giant seashells and said, let's make a building out of this. This masterpiece was designed by a Danish architect named Jørn Utzon. And let me tell you, it wasn't easy to build. It took over 14 years and a whole lot of concrete and steel to complete this beauty. I'm talking about 1 million tiles on the roof alone. Can you imagine the tile guy's job? But hey, the results speak for themselves. The Sydney Opera House isn't just a pretty face, it's a cultural icon. We're talking about over 1,500 performances every single year. Opera, ballet, theater, you name it, they got it. Imagine watching a show with this as your backdrop. This place is so iconic that it's actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And you know I love me some UNESCO sites. It's like the Hollywood Walk of Fame, but for buildings, and this one deserves all the stars. Alright guys, let's talk about Australian slang, because let's be real, Australians have some of the most unique and hilarious ways of speaking. It's like they took English, threw it on the Barbie, and it came out sounding like a whole new language. First up, let's get the basics down. Instead of hello, you'll hear g'day, short for good day, and trust me, you'll hear it a lot. They say it to everyone, from your best mate to the cashier at the grocery store. It's just how they roll. And speaking of mate, that's another big one. It's like dude or buddy, but way more Australian. You could be talking to a stranger on the street, and they'll call you mate like you've known each other for years. It's all about that laid-back Aussie vibe. Now let's get into some of the more interesting slang words. You got arvo for afternoon, brekkie for breakfast, and servo for gas station. It's like they took perfectly good words and decided to shorten them just for fun. Alright guys, let's talk about Australia and their love for sports, because these guys don't just watch sports, they live and breathe it. It's like their national pastime, right up there with throwing another prawn, on the Barbie. We're starting with the big one, Aussie Rules Football, or AFL as they call it. Now this ain't your typical football. It's a fast-paced, high-scoring game played on an oval-shaped field with 18 players on each side. They kick it, they handball it, they tackle like there's no tomorrow. Trust me, it's intense. And then there's cricket, another sport that Australians are absolutely crazy about. And when I say crazy, I mean they paint their faces, they wear ridiculous costumes, and they cheer their hearts out for their favorite teams. It's like a giant party, and everyone's invited. But hold on, we're not done yet. Australians also love their rugby. Both rugby league and rugby union are huge down under. These are tough sports, guys. We're talking about bone-crushing tackles and lightning-fast runs. Alright guys, you know, we love some crazy laws here on the channel, right? Well, get ready to be shocked because Australia takes the cake with some of these rules. Like, seriously, some of these are next level. Did you know, for example, that in Victoria it's illegal to change a light bulb unless you're a licensed electrician? Can you imagine blowing a fuse and having to call in a certified professional just to screw in a new bulb? Talk about a bright idea. I'm not sure what kind of high-voltage shenanigans they're trying to prevent, but it definitely makes you wonder who came up with these laws in the first place. Maybe they have a secret society of electricians who lobby for these things. I'm picturing a bunch of dudes in hard hats, sitting around a table, coming up with ways to make light bulb changing seem like rocket science. But hey, maybe that's just me. Either way, next time you're feeling handy around the house, remember to double-check the local laws, especially if you're in Australia. Alright, enough about crazy laws. Let's talk about something truly awesome. Australia's pink lakes. You heard me right? These lakes are straight up pink, like something out of a cotton candy dream. And no, it's not Photoshop or some kind of trick of the light. These lakes are naturally pink, and it's honestly one of the coolest things I've ever seen. We're talking vibrant bubblegum pink, stretching as far as the eye can see. Imagine flying a drone over one of these bad boys. The footage would be insane. I'm already brainstorming video ideas just thinking about it. But seriously, how does a lake even become pink? Well, it's all down to science, baby. These lakes have a super high salt content, which creates the perfect environment for certain types of algae to thrive. And guess what? These algae produce a red-orange pigment that turns the water pink. You guys know I love crazy facts, right? Well, get this. Australia is home to the longest fence in the entire world. We're talking longer than the Great Wall of China, longer than anything you can imagine. It's called the Dingo fence, and this thing stretches over 3,400 miles. That's like driving from Los Angeles to New York, and then back to Los Angeles again. Now you might be wondering, what in the world could they possibly need such a massive fence for? Well, it's all about protecting those fluffy sheep. See, Australia has a huge sheep population, and dingoes, which are wild dogs, see them as a tasty snack. So, back in the day, farmers were losing a ton of sheep to these dingoes. They needed a solution, and fast. That's when they came up with the wild idea of building this epic fence, dividing the entire eastern part of the continent from the rest. Does it actually work? Okay guys, let's talk about a horse race. Not just any horse race, we're talking about the Melbourne Cup. This isn't just about horses running around a track. It's a massive cultural phenomenon in Australia. Imagine the Super Bowl, but with horses, fancy hats, and way more betting. We're talking offices coming to a standstill, schools glued to the TV, the whole country holding its breath for that iconic race that stops a nation. People from all over the world fly in to experience the Melbourne Cup firsthand. The atmosphere is electric. The stands are packed with cheering fans. The horses are some of the best in the world, and the prize money? Let's just say it's enough to make your head spin. From cuddly koalas and terrifying crocs to the world's longest fence and a horse race that stops a nation, Australia is a land of extremes, surprises, and unforgettable experiences. It's a place that defies expectations and leaves you wanting more. Remember at the beginning of this video when I asked you if you were ready to have your mind blown by Australia? Well, I think it's safe to say that we've uncovered some seriously shocking stuff. From the unique wildlife to the quirky laws and everything in between, Australia is a place that truly has it all. If you enjoyed this wild ride through the land of Oz, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more mind-blowing adventures. And hey, tell me in the comments below which Australian fact surprised you the most.